that thing, you are showing what to your people? That you can do anything. If you are that crazy. But from women, the breast and the tongue. The women pierce their tongues today. That was considered to be a beauty, and that's fashion today. But in the Mayan world, it was something sacred. That's where they would extract the blood from, and that blood was given to the gods, burning it, and that what it made, that created the serpent, Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, and that took the message to the gods up there, accepted or not accepted. They would burn copal, and with that copal, with that incense is what would be attracted to the gods. Any questions? Come this way. Yeah.
And we are going all the way to the top. I want to go all the way to the top. Yeah. I'll probably be the first one up there.
Take some pictures if you like, and then you got it on the this side here.
Wow. Closer you get, the taller that looks.
I don't want a picture down here. I want one up there.
Yeah, exactly.
If we get to go up there.
Oh, we get to go up.
Who's going to be down here to take our picture? Yeah, we get to climb to the top.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, we'll get up there.
You gotta probably wait until that group comes down, I would assume.
What year do you think they started doing this in? What year do you think they really started
Like
doing
680?
What year?
680.
680?
680.
There's another iguana.
680.
There's another iguana.
Oh yeah, there's an iguana right
But
there.
whenever they picked as their epicenter, that comes from the river bank. And they started moving in, so they modified this hill. And this is what they constructed.
There's an iguana right there.
Yeah.
She was like, no, where?
That's your lunch.
I'm passing on the iguana.
You're getting a pet. He's going to get you a pet.
And you guys come this way.
I could handle that better than snake.
Probably one of these horses one so.
I dreamed that snakes got on the boat last night and then they started out.
No?
Snakes?
Oh, way up there.
I dreamed it.
Way up there. Where? On that stone right there? Yeah.
See how they camouflage very well on the rock?
Mm-hmm.
They do.
That's where they that's where their worst prey.
See this first rock and then see the second stone? It's on the second one. The flower.
Yeah. See the one up higher?
Oh.
See the one up higher?
Oh yeah.
On the rock?
Okay, friends. So here we are standing, and we are on the public plaza. This is one of the main entrances to what would be to the main plaza, to the public plaza, and that on the west side, that's also the entrance to these plazas here. Once again, not everybody was allowed to come in here. Only on special occasions they would be coming. Why? Because gods are living here. So now what we are standing on, this is not the original plaza. There are more layers even under this. So you can see the big steps. Those big steps is what we call a baking cake structure. One layer on top of the other. A little higher than what we see what we call an onion layer structure, which is one structure, one above, and that gave strength to it. But it's pretty nice to observe that whenever we see the big steps, this layer is level to the other layer there. So that was one layer where thatch roof houses would have been. And then what we see is a different way of structure, almost to where we see the doorways. Those doorways are 13 doorways. Remember the 13 doorways, the 13 layers of the upper world. Even the big steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, that's what how they would construct. Every cycle, every 20 years or every 52 years was considered to be a sacred cycle, and a different construction would be done. And so whenever they were constructing up, then that's one of the reasons why we think that also what they did was for protection, also for their people to hear. Most of these places, they have hieroglyphs which are translated as Nohulahau. What's Nohulahau? It means the one that shouts. Are these guys shouting? Exactly, acoustics. Once again, that's why they constructed this way. These structures, they are non-residential. You can see the round edges. That's an Olmec influence on a non-residential. Squared ones are the residential ones. So they are the Whenever we climb, we'll be climbing 130 feet from the plaza level. Up there, approximately 270 meters above sea level. So you can imagine what kind of view you will have up there. You guys have skyscrapers, you have Mayan structures here. So that's very nice to observe that mostly what they were doing, everything had a purpose. If they sung, if they danced, if they, whatever they did, something was behind. Even structuring, whenever I mention a cycle of 20 years, that was considered to be sacred. 52 years. That's both calendars, the Solskin and the Hab. They go around, start on the same day, same month. Every 52 years they end up on the same day, same month. That's like saying you complete your birthday every 52 years. So in some books you hear that 52 years is the life cycle of the Maya. I myself don't believe it. You have people, Mayan people that have lived for 100 years. If they were organic, yes. What are now, a lot of people are becoming vegetarians. Why? Because that's more healthier. This is what these people were feeding on. Maize, beans, corn, and chili pepper. These places are also used as ceremonial and trading centers. Why would we believe this? Because we find jade. Remember, jade is one of the values of the Maya. But is jade found in Belize? No. It was brought from the highlands of Guatemala and from Honduras. So that gives us the idea there's a lot of trading between these sites. So if there's the trading, if the economy changes, what you do, you move away. Possibilities are that these things are happening also. What they do, they start moving away and they are spreading into the forest. The first encountering the Spanish with them is 1502. So these places have already been abandoned. Sorry guys. So excuse me. Hello. Tama. Yes, Paul. Why I didn't want to right now. Can you come here later? Yeah. I'll do that. Bueno, Paul. Okay, no problem. Well, okay, guys. Now it's anybody's afraid of heights?
I'm afraid of heights.
Nope.
Anybody who's afraid of heights? I want to encourage you to go, but if you are here, you do it, you won't regret it. But we want to do it the safest way. Please, no running. Do it as safe as we can.
Will you carry me back
Yes, we'll carry you back down.
I can climb to the moon. I just can't come back down.
We'll show you an easy way of coming down.
I did that at
Tuck in her.
I came down on my butt.
That's the easier way of coming down. You won't fall that way. Okay? So we can do it the same way. The colleague here will be behind. I will be going first. So right, once again, kids, please no running. Do it as safe as you can. If you fall
Single
down,
file.
the company is in problem. Myself as a guide and herself will be in trouble. The park might be closed and we end up without a job. So might as well do it the safest way. Okay?
Okay.
Go.
You can't go
Follow
all the way
him.
up, you can go half the way up as well, okay? Half the way up will be at the yellow rope.
Just follow him.
Hands on the other side, you want to go up on the handrail.
You guys climb diagonal, it's easier to climb
So good, somewhat diagonal. It's easier.
You said if you walk at a diagonal, it's easier?
Yeah, just do a slight diagonal. Go up.
Woo! Oh, like a fourth of a way.
Wow, we're at the height of the other one already.
Remember that movie that I made you watch that you hated? Labyrinth? Like being inside the labyrinth.
No, we made like four, maybe.
You want to go first? You want me to?
Go ahead.
Whoa, buddy.
We got a little bit.
Yes, you can. Pretty neat, isn't it?
You can take your pictures. Meanwhile, the group gets out from there, and then we move into that spot there.
You want a picture of the site? Look, I was gonna say, Audra, you can get a good picture of the site.
Yeah, some of those people that stay down there, they have relatives here?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't worry about it.
Yep. Nope. No.
But you can take pictures and you can share.
Yep.
Mine will be on YouTube.
She got it. She said she got it. What an amazing sight.
That's a special weed whacker. It's got special cord on it so it doesn't damage.
We'll give those guys some time to move from there, and then we move into the, I'll give you explanation of that on the wall there.
Wow. Some pretty neat carvings. Yeah, I'm gonna get step back. Those are all original steps over there, I said. Wow. I think that's what they had on the web, was that.
Go stand over there. Get a picture of you in the background. I'm going. Can I come up by you?
You want me up here?
Yeah.
You want me? You want a drink of water too before we go?
Okay. Smile.
You want your picture?
Yes, please.
And then you want water before we go? You want water before we go any higher?
Yes.
You ready?
Zoom it in. Make sure you get that off to the side. Try not to get people.
Tell her before you click so she quits talking.
Smile.
Pretty.
There's the second one.
Beautiful.
I learned the rules.
I still don't listen.
Trade him in. I'll get a different husband. This one's listening.
If you want to live this long, you start listening.
Better start. Yes, the water sounds lovely. There you go. It's starting to fall down.
Means you're losing weight, sweating it off. You don't need to go in that hot sauna room tonight.
In the corner there, they excavated and they found a wall there.
There's another building right there.
But what they find only like halfway, like see that there?
Yeah.
That's the part that they found.
What is that?
So
There's another
they
building
do
right there.
reconstruction.
Really?
Yeah, they found another building over there.
Crazy.
It looks like that's almost an entrance down there, how they got it, all the sticks.
I wonder how quickly the forest reclaims, you know?
This is almost like the whole iceberg thing. You're only seeing just a small portion of it above ground.
Underground.
Carving on the wall. What did the Maya smoke? We don't know, but they have smoked something good so that they can see this type of mass and gods. Right? So what you guys are seeing is a replica. It's not original. The original one is buried behind. This is like 3 feet behind this, but it's a fine copy of what was found. This is made of fiberglass and stucco, so that make it last longer. But whenever I mention about these things, about gods and down those, we start from the, and this construction was on the 4 sides of the structure, but only 2 survived, the east and the west. So we start from the left mass and all the way to the end, the right mass. Those are pash gods. Pash in Maya is a musical instrument. It's given like a welcoming god. To the center, the northwest one, that's the representation of Chak. Chak is the god of light and thunder, the god of rain. How do we see this? The opening of his mouth represents caves. What flows from caves? Water. So it's like a vomiting water, which represents the Mayan rain god, Chak. Right beside the center mass, we find like 2 U symbols in respect of women, looks like a yoga. So So this represents Ixchel, which is the healing goddess. Fertility, birth, the moon, and also a healing goddess. Right on the top of the center line with the X, X's are all usually used as representation of the sun. So that represents a second layer. The Maya believed in 3 layers. Once again, second number 3. Right above the center mass, there's like 2 eyeballs and 2 fangs on the lower part. See where I'm talking about? No. Right on top of the center mass, there's an X to the center of the forehead. Right above it, you can see like 2 eyeballs and 2 fangs on the lower part. That's representation of Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan.
Right up above the center mask, you see an X. Right above it, you'll see 2 dots and like a nose and whatnot. That's what he's talking about. The dead center.
The end of a sacred cycle of the Mayan calendar, which counts of a long count calendar of 5,125 years. Starts with 2,114 BC, ends up on 2012, 2012, makes that 5,125 years. It's just the beginning of another sacred cycle. 13 cycles, and now they have found a new calendar which goes to 17 cycles. So what were this means that they were very good timekeepers. Calculation of time. Right this time where the people I'm telling you guys about, you can go to the left side, there's like a letter D written backwards. You can see that's the eye of a serpent. Once again, serpent represents power. Go way to the end on the right side, there's a figure in open hands. Those are known as bakats. The Maya believed that the world was square and each corner would be sustained by one of these bakats. What does these bakats actually represent? The saber tree. Have you guys seen the saber tree?
I don't think
those
so.
big opening valleys, whenever you're traveling to Belize, you'll be seeing lowly big trees standing up. With open branches. We believe those branches will hold in the upper world, trunk with the light, and then the buttresses are the roots, the interconnection to the underworld. So this represents the 3 layers. Cosmos light intramundo, that's on the east side, that represents light. Any questions?
No, sir.
Some of you guys were also asking if those of the structures, did they had a roof? Yes, they did have a roof. Whenever we go up the structure here, we will be going into one of the rooms, and the decoration of these roofs are on the interior part of the room, which we call a corbel arch or a false arch. Side wall that almost join an slab stone structure right on the top of it, but the outer